As your online store gets larger, you will find out that you cannot do everything on your own, and that you would actually need to get some help. Now, in order to get some help, you'll probably have to set up a team. So probably you will have a designer who will take care of all the designing work, maybe a programmer who will do a bit of programming, maybe you'll have some marketing people to help you out as well. So in this video tutorial, we'll have a look at how to actually do that, how to actually set up a team which will actually take care of everything else and help you manage your online store. Now, to do that, we'll first of all have to create something that's called a role, and then we'll have to actually assign some people, some users to actually have that role and have the permissions to actually access many different parts of your online Magento Go store. At this point, it's quite important that you actually realize the differences between a customer and a user. Of course, a customer is someone who is actually purchasing or making some orders from your online store, where actually the users are the people who are actually helping you run your store. So basically, users are your team members, and together with them, you'll actually run and manage your online store. Alright, so first of all, we'll have to create some roles. In creating a role, we're actually creating almost like a position in a company. So you will have your managing director or maybe your marketing director, and of course you will get your marketing director to do everything that has to do with marketing. And of course you would like to keep your marketing people away from the actual design or coding or something like that. Alright, so first of all, let's create the roles. To do that, we'll log back into our account and actually we'll go to the main dashboard, and there we'll navigate to system. In the system menu, we'll go down and we'll actually find something that's called permissions. In the permissions, we have users, roles and locked users. So first of all, we'll actually create the roles. After we have created the roles, we'll create users and assign those users to those roles. So let's go ahead now and click on roles. Alright, so this is the roles page, and here all the roles that you currently have within your Magento Go system will be displayed. Currently, by the default, there is only the administrators. So we currently have only one role, which is the administrators. We'll go ahead now and create different roles. To do so, we'll go and click on this button here, add new role. Very first thing we would have to do here is give this role a name. So just think of this as a big organization where you have many different departments and you have many different positions. So like I've said before, you will have your marketing people, you will have your coding or programming people, and so on. Each one of those people actually performs a role, and this is actually what we are doing here. So we have to give this position a role name. So for example, let's say that we're creating a position for some graphics designer, and therefore the role name might actually be a graphics designer. So let's go ahead and type in here graphics designer. Alright, once we have actually typed in graphics designer here, we can go and actually save this role. Alright, so if you look at the message here, it will say that this role has been successfully saved. Alright, so we have just created a role which is called a graphics designer. Now we have to actually set some rules for this role. So basically, what are the pages that a graphics designer can get access to? Now to do that, we'll move all the way to the left and we'll click on role resources. Here you'll find a full list of all the possible pages and all the possible tasks that are available within Magento Go system, and all of this actually affect your online store. So what we need to do is carefully choose all the parts of our online store that we would like our graphics design to have access to. So basically we are granting access to those particular parts of our online store, and graphics designers cannot actually go into any other parts of our store which are not selected here. So for example, we do not want our graphics designer to go into sales, so we'll leave this as unselected. You can actually collapse this by clicking on this little icon here, and then we'll come to catalog. So if you wish to have your graphics designer work on your catalog, you would click on this box and this will select everything that actually has anything to do with a catalog. Alright, moving down, design, we will have to select this to make sure that our designers can actually go into the design section. Now we do not want our graphics designers to do anything with customers, so we are not going to select that. Then the newsletters, probably no. We'll give them the access to the pages so they can actually go and save pages, delete pages, publish and whatnot. When it comes to the report, we'll probably leave this empty. Now for the system, we do not want them to, give them permission to change permissions and stuff like that, so we'll collapse that as well. And down the bottom we have a global search, startup wizard, and something that's called to Tango. Now we'll leave all that as unselected. Alright, so username and this password. Now then you will have to actually confirm the password, and of course we want to select this account as active. If we do not want to have it active, we can go inactive. Alright, so once you have actually done with this, filling in the information here, make sure that everything is actually correct, we can actually go here and click on save user. Alright, so we have just created a user, and now let's go ahead and give this user some role. So if we move to the left, we'll find user role. If we click on the user role, a list of all the roles available within our system will be displayed. So there's the administrators, the graphics designer, and the marketing director. So let's for example say that James Wood will have the marketing director position. So we'll select a role called marketing director. Once we have done that, we'll go to save user button. Alright, so we have created a user, we have assigned a role to that user, and let's go back and see how everything is looking at the moment. Alright, so here we have two users now. This is first of all you, so the administrator, and there is our James Wood, and his account is currently active. That's excellent. So let's go ahead and create one more user. Once again, we'll go add a user. We'll go here and enter the information required, and all of the fields here are actually compulsory, so you have to enter some information for each field. So I'll quickly do that. Alright, so I have created a guy called Bob Piney. His username or user ID will be bpiney, and this is the email address for Bob Piney. There is the actual password that Bob will use to log into the system, and his account is active as well. So once again, and once everything is actually being populated here, once you have entered all the information, click on the save user button. Alright, so a user Bob Piney has been created now, and let's go ahead and assign him a role within our company. So we have to click on user role, and let's say that Bob is into graphics design, and therefore we'll actually select graphics designer. Once that is done, we have to go up here and actually click on save user. Okay, so now if we go back, we should have 3 users within our organization, which is the case. So there's James, Bob, and actually this is the store owner, which is myself. Alright, so basically we have seen how to create a role, or how to create a position within our organization. That is how to create a role within our online store. And then we have actually set some attributes for that role. So we actually set access to some pages and actually restricted that role for some other pages. Alright, once we have actually created different roles, we actually went and we have actually created different users. We have set a user login and a user password for that particular user, after which we have actually went and we assigned some role to that user. Now I have used a different user for different position, but basically what you can do, for example, is go here and click on James, which will now open all the information about James Wood, and then I can go user role, and instead of him being marketing director, I can actually make him graphics designer. After that, I can just hit on save, and now when I go back, James Wood is actually graphics designer, not a marketing director anymore. Having many different roles and many different users is quite useful. A good example of this would be actually when you're hiring a designer or a programmer. So this person is not part of your everyday team, and basically you would just like to make some customization to your theme, for example, and you would like this person to actually do a bit of coding. So once you have actually hired someone, you would create an account or a username for that person. So once you have created a username, you will actually go and create a role, or you can do it the other way around. You can first of all create a role and then create a username. Once everything is done, you would link that username to that role, and once you have done that, you will actually provide your programmer or designer with a username and a password. So when that person actually logs in, they will actually be allowed only to use the information that you have actually granted permission for. So basically a programmer would not have to do anything with finance, and therefore you would actually block the access to the finance section of your online store. So once again, you have seen how easy it is to create users and roles within Magento Go system, and I'm sure you'll be using it a lot as your online site grows bigger and bigger.